We've seen war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Kiss my ass. They're criminals. It is a hole. You ever been there?
He says what everyone else is thinking.
I'm dedicated to it. I can't be stopped. Hey, look, everybody. It's a spirit campfire from Uncle Ted's Physics of Spirituality. Welcome to the Real America's Voice Spirit Campfire with your old Detroit Muscle Motor City madman, the Reverend Theodosius Atrocious, the 10 Digits of Doom, where I'm the only guitar player in the history of the world that can actually accumulate protein by sniffing my cold steel knife. It's the hunting season, and I am intoxicated on the physics of spirituality. Can you feel the spirit? Welcome back, and thank you, everybody at Real America's Voice. You people, I wish I could deliver some of this effervescent venison protein from the unsuspecting cervids that made the mistake of standing broadside within 50 yards of my Mathews bow, and I disconnected the pump station and donated pure, organic, renewable, healthy, nutritious, delicious venison to soup kitchens and homeless shelters and neighbors and people around the country. 500 million. You know, we're approaching 500 million. That's a billion with a B. You know, pocket change, the way Uncle Sam's burns your tax dollars. I can go off on tangents. It's the Ted Nugent Real America's Voice Spirit Campfire. So we're approaching 500 million perfect meals of venison at the cost to taxpayers, zero. Kind of about the amount of money I've spent on tobacco in my life, the amount of money I've spent on bling bling, the amount of money I've spent on aftershave. Anyhow, 500 million nutritious meals of pure venison from we, the hands-on conservation families of the wild, of America, of the spirit of the wild America, where we donate venison by the tons, approaching 500 million meals of venison in the Hunters for the Hungry, Sportsmen Against Hunger all across this country. Because you know who the most down-to-earth, grounded, reliable, families of integrity and worthiness? Yes, I'm making a judgment call here. Landowners, hunters, fishermen, trappers, ranchers, farmers, those of us who understand that our quality of life is ultimately determined by the quality of air, soil, and water, which is ultimately determined by the health and biodiversity of thriving wildlife habitat, which is the #1 celebration, the #1 pursuit on the Pursuit Channel. Ted Nugent, Spirit of the Wild TV, 36 years running, 8 times a week. No, really, there's a Ted Nugent Spirit of the Wild TV show with Shemaine Nugent, the queen of the forest. And we celebrate and promote hands-on conservation because your quality air, soil, and water comes from those of us that pay gobs of money. You know, we're approaching 500 million meals of venison for charities across the country every year. But we're well into the trillions that we've dedicated, trillions of hard-earned tax dollars that have been dedicated to habitat, so that your air, soil, and water is clean, because it doesn't come from the mall. It doesn't come from Disney World, where they raped and pillaged the entire Everglades of Central Florida. I bet they got a tax break. But if you try to grow corn in a field that has a cattail, you're going to jail, mister. Or if your fish box is the wrong size and mislabeled in Massachusetts, I'm sorry, you're going to jail. And if I shoot a bald eagle, which I would never do, well, I don't want to say never. If it's attacking a child, I'd shoot that damn symbol of America right now, pronto tanto. But anyhow, I don't shoot bald eagles or golden eagles. We have bald eagles and golden eagles on the Nugent Fen in southern Michigan because I spend gobs of money, all that money I could have spent on booze and drugs and bling bling and aftershave and dry cleaning and tobacco, all that stuff I could have wasted my money on like an idiot. Instead, I bought land and I walked the wild ground. In fact, my shoes, these are dry shots. These have put in more miles in awesome habitat, chasing critters with, boy, I got so many stories. Are you settled in? So let me get a last sniff of protein from the knife that has gutted 18 white-tailed deer this year. That's right, I am the whack master. But you know what? I'm going to take a slug of Joe right now, a little mocha Joe. Shemaine makes me some mocha. You do the polka with the mocha. But all this uppiness, have you noticed that I haven't got an exclusive on uppiness, but I have an exclusive on over-the-top Gonzo uppiness? In fact, let me get a slug of Joe here. Welcome back to the Spirit Campfire. Are you having a good time? Tell your friends that Ted Nugent is just so verbose. I'm like a linguistic ballerina with steel-toed work boots that still has some Pierce Morgan skull tissue in the Vibram soles of my steel-toed work boots because he was going to arm wrestle with Ted Nugent on CNN, but he forgot to bring his arm. If you're going to arm wrestle Ted Nugent, the first rule, bring an arm, which is why they don't debate me anymore, because they haven't got any arms. If arms are truth, logic, and common sense, the media, academia, most of government, Hollywood, they haven't got any arms of truth, logic, and common sense. I'm the truth, logic, and common sense daddy. And I know I'm just rattling on here, but isn't it entertaining and educational all at the same time? It's like an A10 warthog of entertainment, education, and stimuli with a slug of Joe. Man, welcome back. So anyhow, yes, I'm uppity. I'm very excited. I'm very positive. I put my dry shod boot back on. I go through at least 3 or 4 pairs of boots every year. You know how many pairs of boots the entire staff at the Michigan DNR goes through? None. They get all their wildlife information from Salon and from the Michigan State University and University of Michigan. You know, home of the hash bash. You're going to get some meaningful, implemental, positive, pragmatic, utilitarian information from the home of the hash bash? I don't think so. You might want to stop and discover personal hygiene. That would be the first step. And I know I don't look like I have hygiene because I'm disheveled, but I have my dog whistle. And I was at the vet this morning, the Concord vet. Anthony, all you wonderful nurses and veterinarians and assistants at the Concord vet, Jackson overdoes it. He's my dog. In fact, I'm going to talk about this in a minute because my dog doesn't have a life. It has a So I'm going to talk about this book. It's unbelievable. It's not available yet, but we're going to figure out a system by which you can advance order autographed and numbered copies of this voluminous tome with unbelievable documentation of the most outrageous career in the history of sonic bombast and Little Richard wannabe soul music. Wait till you see this book. Rocco Winchester Nugent, my son, and Jason Hartless are going through it now as we review all the different stages of my outrage. Anyhow, it's called Ted Nugent Gonzo Life. And I'll talk about the gory details in a minute. But it is October. I'm recording this in this digital Gonzo life. You know that everything worthwhile would be considered Gonzo life, not to be confused with Sleepy Joe, sleepy people, hash bash, comfortably numb nuts. So I'm in the vet with Jackson because what a duck hunting season. Oh my God. I hope I sent some photos to my RAV team of me and the dogs with ducks, Sadie and Coco and Jackson. I'm so happy, but I'm about to tell you how sad I can be. Now, Michael Cardelloni, the great drummer for Leonard Skinner, the great drummer for the Ted Nugent Band, the great drummer for the Damn Yankees with Jack Blades and Tommy Shaw. If you get a chance to go see Night Ranger with Jack Blades, go see these guys. These guys are outrageous. Barack. Boy, that coffee hits me instantly. And Tommy Shaw with Styx, unbelievable, soulful, dynamic, musical authority, gifted, dedicated, work ethic monsters of impactful music. They're so good. But Michael Cardelloni said put together a damn Yankee thread, and we just lost Michael's mother. 98 years old, and what a firestorm of a perfect mother, a perfect American, a perfect immigrant. Michael Cardelloni, in the wind, your mom is still alive. What a great lady. We had so much fun. We laughed so hard. Michael's mom and dad. I'm surrounded by funny people. But anyhow, as funny as it is, Jackson wrecked his leg, going berserk in the muck fen, getting mallards and wood ducks, that he ripped open his forearm. So Anthony taped him up, and now I have to go a week without duck hunting. So I'm so happy, but I'm so sad. So sad. And he's laying over there all bandaged up. He wanted to go so bad this morning. He was whining up a storm because he felt the spirit of the wild as I exude the spirit of the wild. I have many stories. So I'm at the vet, and John Rich, the great John Rich, I think he has the #1 country song right now, Revelations or something. I apologize for not knowing the name of it, but he's going to South Dakota cock-sploder hunting with Tucker Carlson and Dave, the economy guy, Dave. I can't think of his name because I don't watch those shows, but I love these people. And he wanted to know what kind of shotgun, what kind of choke, what kind of ammo. I said, he's shooting out an over-under Browning. So I said, have a modified and full choke, because the modified will open it up a little bit at typical 30, 40-yard pheasant range. Use a high base #5 shot, lead 5s. Murder. And then the second barrel would be a full choke, which will give you an extra 10, 15 yards. And if that rooster's crossing left to right or right to left, aim at 2 birds in front of him, because they're fast. They're cock-sploders. They're the only meaningful, decent thing ever to come from China, and they're delicious. But I'm going to come back in just a minute with more Ted Nugent, Real America Voice Spirit Campfire, because I'm verbose. I'm the linguistic ballerina with steel-toed workbooks. But I had heartbreak last night. I'm going to share it with you, and you might help me through this pain. I love you people.